going to go. What's up, guys? Jason Guyman here with King of Pressure Washing Christmas Lights. It's on both. And tonight, I've got a special guest on. He's always our friend. He is one I always talk about. And tonight, we're going to talk about Jeremy's journey of how he went from a garbage man, literally throwing garbage on the back of a truck for 15 years, 15, 16 years, to starting his own pressure washing Christmas light business. We'll kind of go through the journey of how he's had success and what he has done. There's nothing special with him. Obviously, like I said, he was a garbage man. Not that there's anything wrong with a garbage man, but that is what we are going to talk about, and how he has grown his business, how he has taken his trucks, are going from one truck to 4 trucks and getting off the truck. So we're going to hit on 2 things that is probably the hardest 2 things for growing a pressure washing Christmas light business. Number 1 is to quit your full-time job, and number 2 is to get off the truck. And that is what we're going to hit on. But before we get going tonight, I am thankful that I'm here. I was actually in Gatlinburg this past weekend, and I was driving down 75 on Friday night around the same time if that would have happened a day early. I know some of you may have seen the news that there was some stuff happening on 75. Several people have been shot, and I don't know if they died or not, but that's where we would have been driving right through that same time, around the same time frame. So we were blessed that that happened a day later, not to us. But that is what I've been busy this weekend with my daughter. We had a soccer tournament down there with her, and so that is what I had to do this weekend. So, like I said, this is for pressure washing and Christmas lights. It's really going to be just in business in general, to be honest. It's not nothing one way or the other, because I brought Jeremy on. We're actually going to be training up there in his place. We're going to be doing Christmas light training and permanent light training coming up this weekend. So if you want to go check that out, you can. But again, I want to see how you guys are doing tonight. Pressure washing mastery said crazy stuff. It was some crazy stuff going on there. So let's get this show started. Jeremy, first off, just kind of tell us who you are, where you're from, all of that kind of thing for the people that may not know who you are.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Main. We have Pink Pro Wash and Pink Pro Holiday Lights. We're just outside Detroit. Oakland County is where we do most of our work. That's about it. I quit my job as a garbage man in the middle of COVID in 21, and took it full time. And we haven't looked back. It's been good.
So let's start out the journey here. So you was a garbage man driving around the garbage truck. You actually, the picture that I posted ain't very good, but you actually was the what do you call it? The penthouse, or what would that be called when you got that picture taken?
The garbage man model.
The garbage man model for the garbage company, correct?
Yeah, they did a little photo shoot there, and it went out in their advertisements. I think it still might be in their advertisements. It was pretty funny.
And back then, I mean, you were making okay money, right? Like $60,000 a year or something, 4 or 5 years ago.
I think I might have hit 70, but that was working 70 hours a week, volunteering for Saturdays. I mean, I did everything I could.
And so when you decided to do this, how did you start your pressure washing business? Did you just quit cold turkey, or did you do it as a part-time gig for a few years?
It was a part-time gig, I think, for about 2 years. I started out just doing gutter cleanings and a little bit of power washing. I bought a $600 4-gallon-a-minute machine on Marketplace. I still have it. I don't know if it runs, but I still have it. I'm scared to throw it away. I might need it.
And so once you started this journey of entrepreneurship, what were some of the struggles that you dealt with in the beginning?
Really just giving up control. I did everything. I was scared to get an employee. I was scared to spend any money, so I I took a leap of faith and just started doing Google AdWords before I even quit my job. And we just kept getting busier and busier, and it was to the point I was losing money going to work. Um, and then I was really scared to quit my job. I'll admit I was really scared. And then I just came down to, I had a lot of dreams and goals to do stuff, and I was never going to get where I wanted to be by being a garbage man. And worst case, I would have found a new job. So um, quit my job, and then that year, my I kept limping. My hip was really hurting, and went to a specialist, and they told me I need a hip replacement. So, that was pretty scary.
So I want to hit on this because that was really scary, but that was probably the best thing ever happened to you, correct?
Was
And why was that the best thing ever happened to you? And a lot of times we think that bad things happen to us, and in reality, it teaches us things that we would have never done. If that wouldn't have happened, what happened by you getting your hip going on you?
so before that ever happened, I always liked that saying, "Life happens for you instead of to you." So I was in a lot of pain every day. I mean, I was a couple times almost stuck on a roof by myself because I couldn't get my leg off the gutter. um, but around that time, my younger brother, he was a union iron worker, and he started talking to me, like about starting a business. And then he said, "Well, maybe I can come work for you." And originally, first I said no. I said I can't afford to pay you what you're making now. And then my hip got worse, and then I said, maybe we could try this. So he quit his job as a union iron worker, my much younger brother. So if this didn't work, my family was going to kill me. You know, but then he came on board, and it really grew from there.
So I met you quit in August, wasn't it, that year of 2021?
Yes.
So Jeremy came to one of my first classes for Christmas lights in October of 2021, and it was at the end of October. It was like the last weekend of October. And as I tell all my students, and actually, he actually sent me the video, and I actually didn't send me the video until a while. He actually made a video of him quitting his job, the last day quitting the job. And so, before we move to my side, what were the emotions and the feelings that you had when you were quitting the job, in that August when you did that video?
Yeah, actually, it was July. I That year I was originally going to quit in April. I thought, beginning of the year is going to kick off, and then I'm going to quit my job. My birthday's in April, and then that COVID thing happened, was going on, so I got scared. So I stayed working, and finally quit in July. And I mean, that day, yeah, that video I sent you, I could barely talk. I was emotional. I was excited, emotional, scared. Um, I mean, it just, everything was going through me. You can see, if you watch that video, I'm pretty much ready to like start crying. I was I was definitely tearing up a little bit. Um, and but I was also really excited. I mean, I knew we had everything in place and it could be done. I just had to be the right person and step up and do it.
And in Michigan, you really can't pressure wash in November and December and January and February and March and maybe April, right?
Yeah, yeah. Depending, sometimes in April, sometimes you can't. A lot of times it's May. You know.
So that's why you decided to do Christmas lights, to do it. And he came to, like I said, one of the trainings in October. And what was your thoughts when you came to that training in October?
Yeah, I was like, if we can do like 10 houses, you know, I'll be cool with that. Just maybe we can build it this year. We're not going to do much. I was definitely told Jen a couple times that, there's no way we can do 30 grand like Jason's saying, and another thing, when I quit my job, I was still living paycheck to paycheck. I didn't have like a good savings or nothing. I mean, I was
You
just
were
getting by.
actually homeless somewhere around in that time about frame, wasn't you?
Yeah, the year, I think it was the year before, I within a couple years before that, I went through a divorce and was renting a house. They sold that house. I was in a bad relationship, got out of that, and I couldn't afford even an apartment. I had nowhere to live. I had to sleep in the bunk bed with my son at my ex-wife's house, while I was dating Jen. So
That
it was
goes
a
over
tricky
real
time.
well.
It was a tricky time.
But I'm going after you didn't have all this money just coming in and just had it easy, and some people think that where you got and you had it easy in the beginning, and it took a lot of a lot of people want to be where you are now, but they don't want to do the work that it took to get you there, right?
Yeah.
And so when you took my training, I always say 30 to 50,000. You and Jen came down that training, and what did you do your first year in Christmas lights?
We did. We hit 30,000 um, with 26 installs.
26 installs, 30,000, and you've grown every year with pressure washing, and this was your very first year full time. um, I think you've done very well over the time, and that's just what you can do with growing the business. Now let's talk about the next thing, because getting off the truck I always feel is a hard thing to do, and I always think that this is usually one of the biggest challenges that I see people struggle with. And you kind of hit that challenge because your hip was going out on you. And so talk about that transition and that giving up I think it's giving up the mentality that you're the only one that can do that.
Yeah, I mean, without the hip, it probably would have been hard. I mean, it was it. I had no other choice. I could barely walk before I got my hip done. It was bad. So I mean, it was pretty much I have to do this, and I have to let the guys, take control. It did really help that my brother was very able. He had a lot of good common sense. He knew how to work. So I was able to show him everything pretty quickly, and he just took it and ran with it. So that was really a blessing.
So from garbage truck to pressure washing seems world apart. What skills or lessons from your garbage truck days that you learned or that you applied from in the pressure washing business? And I'm
Skills.
kind of going after you probably listened to more podcasts and learning that way
I
in the
did.
garbage truck than ever before, correct?
I did. I just had AirPods in every day. Towards the end of it, I drove a one man truck, with one of those arms on the side, and I would have to still get out a lot, but AirPods in and just podcast after podcast and videos. Watching, really, it was watching your videos and a couple other people like Bobby Walker, um, and just trying to learn a little bit, and then but I did spend a lot more on mindset of just Tony Robbins and anything I could get my hands on. I just would put it on and just let it play and play and play.
I love that Sterling brought up a great question, and I even kind of forgot about this. Let's go down that rabbit hole. Your business wasn't called Pink Pro Wash in the beginning. What did you originally name your business?
It was proper power washing.
Proper Power Washing. And you went to where did you go? And you had like a light bulb moment, and Jennifer was about to kill you over it,
Yeah, so we were at Responsicon, in Arizona,
which
and
is respond or brought or put on by Responsibid.
yeah, yep. And at that time, we still didn't have Responsibid. I wasn't full time yet. And like 2 in the morning, I just got up and started looking at domain names and bought Pink Pro Wash. And then in the morning, we got up and I was all excited and I said, Jen, we're going to change the name of the company. After we already had we were just kind of getting a website going and had all this stuff going. And we were going, she's like, no, we're not. We're not changing it. So a little bit of back and forth, talking to people, talking to you at the convention, and I ended up winning.
So why is Pink Pro Wash near and dear to your heart?
So it's been 23 years ago now. I lost my mom to breast cancer, and it was a really bad time in my life. I was 23, and it just sent me down a bad track for a while. So I came up with this and decided to try to get awareness to breast cancer. And I don't know why it was like I said, okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to donate to a cancer foundation. At that point, I had no idea what organization. I knew I didn't want to go to like one of the bigger ones because the money doesn't really go to anywhere. I'm like, we got to find somewhere where the money goes to helping people. That's all I knew. And then we got back to Michigan. I think it was the next day on Facebook. A friend of mine, Amy, posted that she's working with this organization, 5 Points of Hope. 100% of the money goes to helping people. They give them grants to pay their electric bill, to give them rides to treatments, anything they need. They give them like $500 grants and pay bills or mortgages or car payments. And I'm like, all right, we want to meet with you. And then that week we went and met with the founders of the organization, and we became their first corporate sponsor. And
And
we sponsor monthly to them. We sponsor every outing they do. I mean, just everything they do. We just do what we can.
let's go back a little bit to the dark side of how long did your mom suffer through the breast cancer? Was it something long or was it something that was pretty
Yeah,
quick?
for about 4 years. Tons of surgeries, chemo. Thought she had it beat. It came back. More surgeries, more chemo, and she just. And my mom was only 40 years old.
So that's the story before behind Pink Pro Wash. And now you guys donate more than just that one organization too,
Yeah.
correct?
There's a couple more we're trying to work with that we do a little bit. Men that wear pink of Oakland County. There's a couple more that we're trying to reach out to and work with.
And how has that helped you? And this is kind of your why, correct? This is someone
Yes.
was asking about your why of your business. This is part of your why. So what is your why for the business?
To help as many people as we can, to give back as much as we can, and I love paying my guys as much as I can to help them have a good life.
So you're obviously so what you're telling me is you're the cheapest and you're able to do this, or are you the most expensive?
The amount of times, even in the beginning, we heard that we got multiple quotes. You were the highest quote, but we want to go with you because we like what you're doing. So
So going from one truck to three trucks is an incredible thing. I don't even know where you're at now, three, four trucks. So
five trucks plus a sales jeep.
five trucks. So going through this, what mind shifts have you had to have to be able to do to get the five trucks?
I mean, the biggest thing is you just have to think it's possible. You have to know it's possible. If you doubt yourself and you are just worried about what could go wrong, if you're only thinking about what could go wrong or when a guy leaves and a guy has to go clean a roof or a gutter, and you're just worried about if that guy gets hurt or what if he sprays and kills a bush. I mean, it's you're gonna draw that. I mean, but if you think positive and think the opposite of just what if it goes right? What would that look like, right?
Right. And where did you learn this at? Because obviously this isn't usually brought to you. And you know, the question here would be, what have you integrated into Pink Pro Wash that would help you with this? And even training is what I'm going after. It's something that you still do training. You still invest in yourself. You've probably invested $100,000 worth of stuff into yourself in the last 3 or 4 years, if not more. And how has that helped you get to where you are?
It's it's helped me so much. I mean, it's really the amount of how much it's helped me. I can't even I can't even come up with. I mean, it's so I do training with Michael Burnoff. I'm in a mastermind with him out in Arizona. I don't know if probably a lot of people, if they went to the Huge last year, saw him. Um, he's really great. I mean, he helps you a lot with mindset, and he's a great person. I mean, the more I learn about him, he really is a great person. He wants to help people.
And how has that helped you grow your business?
It's always keeping me in the right mindset of when you start thinking positive and how things will work, it'll it opens up all the doors. I mean, like between now we're starting to get into you know next year we should be opening a pest control and mosquito control. I would have never have thought that. I mean, when I brought my brother on, I told him, and he reminded me at this when we did our ribbon cutting. Now that we have 5 trucks, he's like, "Hey, you remember what you said when I came on?" And we're the whole city's there and we're cutting the ribbon, and I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" And he's like, "You said how you didn't want to grow the company big. You just wanted, you're going to run a truck and I'm going to run a truck and we're just going to roll like that." And like to where now I'm hardly on the truck.
So, what is one thing that sets you apart from all your competition there?
I mean, I would I don't know if they're all of other companies don't have a good mindset. I hope they do. I hope for their sake they do. But I try to give back as much as we can. Um, I mean, I don't really. I'm friends with a lot of the competition, but as far as like you hear guys always call up the competition to find out what they're charging. Like I think tons of guys have called me. I don't know. I don't care. I people are always worried about when they put in a quote who's putting the other quotes in. I'm not worried about that at all.
And what's your secret weapon for that?
I mean, it's really the positive mindset. That's all it is. I just if we don't get it, then they're not our right customer.
I'm going to say your secret website or your secret weapon of choice is called Jennifer.
Yeah,
Is what that's called.
yeah,
And I know a lot of y'all don't know Jennifer. Jennifer's his girlfriend. Been and they're actually engaged
fiance,
finally, huh?
fiance, fiance.
Fiance
I just
now.
say wife. I say
Yeah,
wife.
might as well say wife because she tells him what to do and how to. And well,
Yeah,
he's got ideas, but the one thing I love about Jennifer um, she was married to a guy and had lots of money, and so she loves purses and she has lots of them, and they're not the $100 purses either. You add about 2 or 3 more zeros to them. But the reason why I love that is because a lot of times when you have that mindset of money, you're able to charge a lot more and not be nothing here. Because I would probably say that if you were quoting things versus her, you would be a lot lower than her, correct?
oh yeah,
and
For
and
sure.
that's the different mindset. And she's not selling on the chemicals and the stuff. She's selling on how how awesome they are and being able to get top price.
Yeah.
So that would be my thing. I can't let Jennifer not get credit on here because she's helped you a lot, even in the beginning. So
Yeah. I just have to, like if you do a couple more sales, then, we can get another one of these.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And let's talk about something this year before I go on here of some more of my questions here. What was one thing that you hit this year as a goal, that you hit at least once, and if you almost hit it a couple more times of hitting six-figure months? Tell me about how that obviously in Christmas lights you did it before, but just in pressure washing alone, what was the mindset when you hit that six-figure month?
It was like, wow, I guess this is where we're going to stay now. This is the new standard. That's where we're going to be.
And
Which,
it's kind of like, do you remember the first time that you hit your $10,000 week or your
yeah,
$10,000 month?
then the 20, when we hit 20,000 in a month, just after I quit my job, I was like, couldn't believe it. Just like, how did we do this?
Right,
Uh, but then now as it happens, it's a cool goal. It's like, oh yeah, we hit that, but I mean, during Christmas lights when we hit 100,000 in a month, and then the next year we hit a little over 200,000 in 1 month. I just look at the number and I'm like, okay, it doesn't bring me any joy or emotion. It's just a goal.
right. And at hitting $100,000 month isn't near as exciting as hitting a $20,000 month or even a $10,000 month.
In the
You know,
beginning, yeah,
because it's just another number at that point when you
yeah.
learn that it's just another number.
The 20,000's exciting because at that point you're still scared to death.
and and $20,000 is a third of what you made for the whole year before, right?
And that's what when we hit the 100, I'm like, this is more in a month than we did more in a month than I did ever in a whole year.
Right, right. So,
So,
what is one thing you believe most small business owners get wrong about scaling small business, and how did you approach this differently?
I think a lot of people are scared to advertise. Um, it seems like the newer guys that are starting out that are doing okay, they're they're scared to do more than one advertising. Like some of them will just do Facebook, and they're scared to do Google, or they do Google for a little bit and then they stop. Like you have to be all in and just go, for at least the whole season with it.
Right,
You don't necessarily have to go all year like we're in Michigan, but you got to really give it a try. You got to invest, in a decent website. You got to invest in mentorship. Um, the coaching. I like you don't bring it up enough, but I mean, using you as a coach has helped us. We wouldn't be where we are without your coaching. Like you helping us make the right decisions. In the very beginning, we would not be where we're at.
and I still help you, coach you,
Yeah,
and you
it's
and
good to have somebody that like, and I'll be thinking I'll have this problem, and I'll say Jason, and he'll just say, "Did you try this?" I'm like, "Ah, shit, why did you know?" When you're having a problem, it's so much easier for someone else to answer it than sometimes yourself.
so how does Pink Pro Wash deal with customer satisfaction? Because you got lots of 5 stars and you got a lot of raving fans behind you. How did you get that? Is that something that you just happened, or what are things that set you apart that help you keep you set apart for the customer satisfaction side of things?
From the beginning, we answer our phones. that seems like it sets us apart from so many of the competition. We answer the phones. We're professional. We get them quotes when they ask for it. You know what they we ask. Get them a quote for what they ask for, plus a couple other things if they want that. We do the job. If there's a problem, we make it right. I've had to go back to jobs multiple times. If we messed up and we misquoted it and we get to a job, it's, well, we're losing money on this. I'm not We're not going to ever go to the customer if it's our fault and say, actually I should have been $500 more for this. No, we'll take care of it. And it's just really about taking care of them and treating them the way you'd want to be treated.
Yeah. That's probably the biggest thing that most things that people don't realize, that you want to be treated, you want to treat other people. So as you're looking through and you think back to the last 3 or 4 years, what's one milestone that you're most proud of?
One milestone.
Or two?
Yeah, got me drawing a blank now. I mean, just this isn't the most it's happened before this, but just being able to. We just got back from Arizona. Um, we took a couple extra days and went to Sedona, hiked a couple mountains, then went back to Scottsdale. And while we were gone, the guys did a great job. Jen still was closing jobs while we were on the road. I mean, there's there's so many. I mean, you probably got one in your head that you're thinking of.
No,
Because
I think the biggest milestone that ever happened to you is when you joined Burnoff. I think that was probably, and you've invested in yourself and a lot in Burnoff, and I like the way you talk now, the way you interact. A lot of that has come. You had not a great bringing up, and you had a lot of negative in there, and you've changed how you speak to yourself, you change how you speak to other people, and I think that has opened so many doors that would have never happened if you wouldn't have worked on that. And the thing that I love about Jeremy is he's in my coaching, he's in my mentorship, and we got young guys like Grayson and Christian, and and you've helped Christian. He was so negative and talking negative, and you're like, and you help him talk positive, and now he's helping, and I spoke into his life, and now he's starting to give, and it's amazing to see the transformation, that if you hadn't taken burn off, if you hadn't learned to get rid of the negative mindset of how awesome that you are and how awesome everyone is out there, and seeing good in stuff versus seeing negative. I think that's the hardest part, is why people can't find good employees, is because the number one thing they tell themselves is what? There is no good employees no more. Well, guess what? You just told yourself that, you believe that, and you're never going to find good employees at that point. Right. And so that mind shift that I've seen over the years for you has gotten you to where you are now.
Yeah, and I feel like I always had a good attitude about things, but I didn't think a lot of things were possible. I didn't think I was able to do a lot of what we do. Like employees. I have four right now, four great employees. They're awesome. I freaking love those guys. And it's and you invest in people a little bit, you get it back. If they leave me, that's fine. Hopefully I made them, a little bit better, and hopefully they learned something. So
Yeah.
it's you can't be scared. The whole, what if I do all put all this training into somebody and then they leave, and what if you don't?
It costs you way more in the end if you don't, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. Talking about employees, What are some things that you do for culture, and what are some things that you look for when hiring employees?
I'd say the main thing is just honesty. That people are going to be honest with you. Um, and then I mean that just that they're good people and they're wanting to work. If they're not wanting to work, it's it's not a waste of time, but it's not a good fit.
So this is one that I always like to talk about this one. And this is something that with coaching wise, I've really started working with Jeremy and a bunch of those guys of KPIs, knowing your numbers, and that. So, what is your average ticket price right now, or close to ish?
It's right around $1,000, $1,100.
And what about Christmas lights?
Just over 2,000. I think
So,
it's right around $2,100.
so $2,100 and $1,000 for average tickets. And so obviously you're not the cheapest. And but what about your close rate? Are you like 90% close rate?
I'm not even sure what it is. It's for Christmas lights. It's probably under 30%.
Yeah, I even think pressure washing isn't much more than that. The last time I
Yeah.
heard from y'all, but what I'm getting at is you're not going to close every job. What was the mind shift when you realized that you're not going to close every job, but yet you're going to make more money by being premium pricing?
That's fine. They're just if they're not your customer, it's not a big deal. Like you, I'll even if I'm not a good fit or like I'll try to find them somebody that might be a good fit.
You send them to our little short buddy.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's on. I don't know if he watches me anymore or not, but I'm sure I'll hear back about it.
Nah, he's a good guy. He's um, I it's odd, as you've been in business for a couple of years, you'll have somebody they'll call you and they'll be kind of rude and you just be nice to them and then they might call you in a couple months and then realize that wow, even though I just told that guy he was way too much money and that's crazy that I just called a couple other companies and nobody got me a quote back or they didn't sound like someone I want even at my house. So,
Right.
just always be nice to people.
Um, Miss Carol put on what scale do you pay employees? Percentage, hourly, bonuses?
Mostly hourly. We do some bonuses, but yeah, it's mostly hourly, and then there's we do some bonuses in there.
Yeah. Um, my divorce. I'm just reading through some comments because I always like to answer y'all's questions and comments and help you. My divorce nearly killed me. Hate to hear that from other small businesses. Glad you were able to get it back together.
Hey, and yeah, I mean, divorces suck. If you don't have to do it, don't do it. My youngest daughter's here actually, but now me and my ex-wife, we're friends. Her and Jen talk. I mean, it's good. It was for the best.
Casey put real men cried happy tears. um, there was
Yeah,
another question.
on that, I've cried many times over customers. I mean, we've had customers die. We've had actual cancer patients that we've done their lights for free. Um, After we've had one last year that we washed their house, did a lot of work for them, and then found out she was very terminal. They were going to try to get one more vacation in, and we asked them if we could do their whole house. We did their whole house in pink for free, um, and she loved the idea. And then we found out a couple months later she died. And,
Yeah, I always tell people that I do, I always try to do at least, I always try to do at least one or two free ones every year. And even when I share it in my training pictures, I still feel that inside. I mean, it is something that, you know, the little boy that passed away wanted a superhero funeral, and we went and put Christmas lights up, and Santa on top of the roof is something that it's one of those things that it's hard, right? It is hard for that family to deal with that, but at least we can give them some joy. At least we can give them some happiness at that point. So
Yeah, and it's not even amazing. It's been a couple washing jobs. I cleaned a house that it was a cedar roof, and it was a very big job. And I was honest with the customer, and before I started, and said, it looks like your roof, you kind of need a new roof. I'm not a roofer, but it looks like it's pretty, shot. And he goes, I know. Can you still clean it? I said, okay. I know why, but I cleaned it. We made it look really good, and then we were back a couple weeks later, and when we were washing the house and the roof, I saw a medical bed, and then a couple weeks later, he told me that he did it because she was at the hospital. So when she came home, she would see the roof all clean, and he said it made her very happy. And he's like, she died last week. When I was there talking to him, that she just died, and like I started tearing up. I'm like, I would have done the roof for free if I would have known.
this one is a question that he asked, and I actually like this because this was a question that you brought to me when you actually decided to do this. And I remember having a long conversation with you on this one here of how much do you pay for office space? And
So
this is the thing that I think that is exciting, that you
yeah,
were able to do what you are gonna, whatever you'll say. But this is one of those things that you would have never. I guarantee you, in a million years, you would have never dreamt this as a garbage man driving this garbage truck around there. Is how much do you pay for your office space? How much do you pay for your office space?
and even back to mindset. If it wasn't for working with burn off and having a good mindset, I would have probably never. I definitely would have never dreamed this. I used to be the guy that we'd go out to eat, and I was paying attention to what I was ordering because I was scared to spend too much money or buy clothes. Always, I didn't care about money that much, but I always was worried about spending money. But we were just happened to looking at buildings because the city was about to they gave us a warning about, we had, I think at that time, three pink vehicles in the driveway. So we started looking, and I'm like, we're gonna have to rent something. And we saw a warehouse for sale. We were like, let's go look at it. Let's just take a look at it and see what, you know, over $500,000 would get us. And, we were like, looked at it, and we liked it. And there was no way at that time we thought we could get the money for it. And we ended up getting financing and bought a 4,800 square foot warehouse on a main road and on a lake. So I mean, I would have never have dreamed that. In my area, there's lots of lakes, and I grew up in a neighborhood that had a lake, and I never thought I would ever, have any property on a lake because that was just crazy. That was just too much money.
You got to dream big, baby, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can put that pic. I sent you that picture, didn't I?
Of which one?
Of the warehouse with the trucks.
Yeah, I've got it here. I'll
I
pull it
don't know
up
if you
here.
put that in there.
So
But yeah, we bought our warehouse, and it's been great.
I think I can pull it up here. So let me see if I can pull this up here.
So
Maybe.
what's it cost? Little over 5,000 a month is what we spend.
So that's the 5 trucks and the warehouse.
Yeah.
Oh, what I do here. All right. Um. So what is, if you had to reinvent the wheel for Pink Pro Wash? What is one thing that you would do differently?
What would I do differently? maybe try to focus on certain things a little harder in the beginning.
Right. That's probably what I was thinking that you would do.
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place and wanting to do a million things, and Jen has to
Pull you
calm.
back in.
Yeah.
What are your long term goals for Pink Pro Wash, and how do you envision the company legacy?
We're definitely looking at other locations right now, possibly franchising. But I would definitely like to open up more locations because at the end of the day, I like helping people. So if that's, selling a franchise to somebody and helping them grow and possibly do some of the stuff that I've been able to do, I mean, that that makes me more happy than trying to sell a house wash or even Christmas lights.
Right. So, if someone was wanting to start a new business, what are some actionable steps that they should take?
I mean, if hopefully they're getting their Google My Business set up, get that set up right, get your website. I mean, maybe even before that, yard signs. I mean, I definitely had yard signs before I had any advertising going, and just work and talk to people, talk to your family, try to do a couple jobs. I mean, yards, especially right now. If I was starting right now, I would be putting out gutter cleaning signs. I still gutter cleaning's almost one of my favorites. I mean, it's how I got going, and it's so easy if you got a ladder and a bucket, go do it, clean them out.
I mean, if it was me, I would come to the training in Michigan where you'll be able to sit down and talk and eat dinner with Jeremy and
Yes.
myself and 10 other or 11 other people that are signed up right now. And that's what I would do. That we are going to have. And I just put the link in here. But honestly, that is something that Jeremy did in the beginning. And by you coming to the training in the beginning, what were some of the things that you were able to avoid by doing that?
Oh, I mean, to be able to buy the right products, to design it. I mean, I would have never been able to just wing it. I don't think. I mean, the wiring. It's not that it's once it's explained to you how to wire these lights up and everything, it is super easy. But just to try to wing it, I mean, you're gonna have a lot of problems. And why deal with those problems when you can get training and be confident on how to sell the product, how to install the product. You're not gonna do something wrong and pop their breaker, or I mean, there's a million things you could do wrong.
And what's
If you
your goal for Christmas lights this year?
750.
Just in Christmas lights.
Yes.
So, and how much did you end up doing last year?
I think it was four something.
So, a little over 400,000.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the one thing that Jeremy loves to do, and I think we may have a challenge at when we do this, and we'll probably give something away when we do it. What is one thing that you're crazy that you love to do, and we'll be able to do it with people there this weekend?
Hmm. Smoke cigars.
That's one. There's another thing you like to do too, oh.
Oh, someone wants to work out?
That or the get in an ice bath, right?
Oh yeah, we can do the ice bath. We can go on the boat's still on the lake. It's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be in the 90s this week. So,
And how long have you been in the ice bath the longest?
oh, I don't know, over 5 minutes. I don't think I've pushed it really. 3 or 5 minutes. That's about all you want to go.
Gotcha.
I'll have it ready. It'll be ready.
And have you ever won a challenge of the whoever stays in the longest?
No,
Ice bath. Jason even put it there.
I I don't have anything in front of me. I just see the screen.
um, Baker put, hi, Jason and Jeremy. I just turned 20 this month and I have $800 to my name. I've been watching and making notes on pressure washing for a while. Should I start by renting equipment or buy it? I would say rent it, but honestly, at this point in the stage, I would say start with Christmas lights. I know that that is probably not what that you were thinking, but right now, pressure washing
What
is
area is he in?
that I don't know what areas he's in. I would, if you have $800. The other thing I would do is I would kind of hit on what Jeremy said too. Once you, if you tell me what area you are in, I would also start hitting on the gutter cleaning because it doesn't cost you anything but a ladder. So you can do that. You can do the Christmas lights. That is both things I would do. $800 will get you about 200 yard signs plus if you needed to print anything. And so that's what I would hit on right out of the get go. I wouldn't even focus a lot on pressure washing at this point. Just because we're at the end of the season, we are in September, and so the leaves are going to start falling. So all you need is a ladder for that, and Christmas lights. You can start selling jobs. So all you need for that is to go buy yard signs for that, and you'll be able to do those really easy that way.
Yep,
So,
I agree.
yep. Yard signs are so high at the moment. I mark it up to the election this year. They hurt my pockets. I bought 200 for $600, so $300 for 200 or $300 a piece or 100 for 100 of them. So they're it's what they are they have went up a little bit, but that's what you can get them for about 300 to 350. So
Per two color,
that's just one color.
or yeah, white and black, or white and red, or
Right.
um,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's
So
the way.
he's in Melbourne. Um, it's really bizarre. Christmas is literally in summer. Right. Thank you for the advice, and I will join your class for more advice. Yeah. So that's kind of, you're in a whole different world then.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Sorry about that. Take that advice, and you might do pressure washing. So,
Is
um,
that Melbourne, Florida, or
I
Australia?
don't think, I think Australia.
Because I think
Uh,
there's a Melbourne, Florida too. I
yeah.
think
Yeah. Nope. It's in Australia. We're talking. That's the cool thing about this here is we talk people all over the world,
that is
and,
cool.
and go. At that point, you might do pressure washing at this point. So that's something that you can do. So, but even then, I would either rent it or just, you don't have to have the highest thing out there. You don't have to have the crazy stuff. It's just a matter of going out there and getting it. Sean Day put, good old Sean Day, the carnivore, the two good guys right here. Talk about the carnivore and how the diet has, how you've done, what you've
Oh,
done on that.
it's been great. So I'm getting close to like 6 years as a carnivore. Um, I mean, since my knee pain has went away. I mean, I people would be shocked that I don't work out as much as people think. Like, I look like I'm kind of fit, but I mean, it's great for you. All your aches and pains will probably go away. I mean, regular arthritis usually goes away. You can it'll if you're overweight. I've never had it. I was a fat kid, but as an adult, I've never been overweight. So I didn't have that problem, but it'll definitely help you drop weight.
And I wanted to hit on one other thing, talking about Christmas lights. Um, you can see that I'm in a sweatshirt, and it's because today it only got up to 70. And a lot of people don't like that, but I will promise you this will help your phone ring for Christmas lights. People, when you start putting on sweatshirts, it starts tricking your mind that it's getting cold outside, and it's telling people that, hey, Christmas is right around the corner. So that is the awesome thing about getting cold.
Yep. So yesterday, no, 2 days ago, while we were in Arizona, Jen closed $31,000.
$31,000 for pressure washing or Christmas lights?
Lights for Christmas lights.
Wow. Now, is that past customers or brand new customers?
A couple passed, a couple new.
Nice. Now, like I tell people, this is their fourth year in business, third year doing Christmas lights, third or fourth year doing Christmas lights. Don't think you're going to go close $31,000 or you haven't closed anything, that there's something wrong, you're too high, there's different things. I know a lot of times people think that, but that's something that I want to hit on. So, because your first year, you only did $30,000 for the whole year.
Yep.
So don't
It was
get and say,
34 or something.
Jeremy closed $31,000. I'm doing something wrong. Jeremy closed $34,000 their first year for the whole year. And he started like it was the last weekend of October, that class that I did when
Yep.
you came to. So,
And the funny story about my first job I did, the first lighting job I did, it was an Indian family, and they said we want yellow lights. They want yellow lights for Diwali. So I'm like, yellow? They said, yeah. So we special ordered yellow lights for their whole house. I did the whole house by myself. Well, no, Jen helped me. Finished that night. Super excited. They came out. I plugged it in, and they just looked at it for a couple minutes, and they said, "This isn't what we wanted." I said, You said yellow. We special ordered yellow lights for you." They wanted soft white. They wanted soft white.
someone asked the book, "What's a great book for mindset?" I don't know if you have one or not.
I mean, Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, that's probably
Actually, your book, I love that you always recommend, the Magic of Thinking Big.
The Magic of Thinking Big's another great one.
That's Magic of Thinking Big is underrated. That's really good.
Between those two, and you know what's crazy? Those both one that one was written in the '50s, and Think and Grow Rich was, um, it was written in the early 1900s.
Yeah. And then if you get to a point where you're wanting employees, I would say, Who Not How will help you start thinking about employees.
And 10x is better than 2x.
Yeah. I haven't finished that. I have it. I haven't started it yet.
So
And
go
the
ahead.
other thing is like weird things that'll help you that you wouldn't think. Do 75 hard. You do 75 hard, I guarantee your business will grow. Because you'll start feeling so confident if you get halfway through 75 hard and keep going. When you do your quotes, you'll be so confident that you won't have any doubt. I mean, people won't doubt you. I guarantee you'll close more jobs.
Talk about why is that?
When you're congruent with yourself, when you're not saying I'm going to work out every day, or I'm going to work out 3 times a week, and you don't, or you should be eating right, and you don't, and you go out and drinking. I mean, it shows. It comes back. I mean, if when you start treating right, and you're not, when you're lying, even if you think, when you tell somebody, "Oh, I'm gonna start working out," and you don't, you think that, "Oh, I just told him." You told yourself that. You just lied to yourself. Anytime you're talking to somebody else, you got to be aware that you're talking to yourself. A lot of people don't understand that. As it seems weird to think about, but it's true. Whenever I'm strict with working out, everything else goes better.
It's like getting the blood pumping in the morning. It just makes everything better.
I mean, even if it's not working out, even if it's just eating the way you want to eat, that's with 75 hard. You got to follow a diet. It's not a really a body workout program. It's for your mind. I suggest everybody. I just started reading his new book actually.
Have you real okay?
It's the I forgot even the name of it.
It's yeah, I know which one. I just
The
read it.
principles of is it the principles?
Yeah, something like that. The Law of Success is another good book by same person. It's the sequel of Think and Grow Rich.
And actually, if I mean, for anyone, especially if like you normally don't like reading, I would suggest Michael Bernoff's book, Average Sucks, because it's a fairly easy read, and I'm not the best reader, so it's just very simple, and it works.
Well, and I think that's back to 75 Hard, right? Because when you start reading that, you realize that you read a whole book and you're like, holy crap. I mean, when I did 75 Hard, I just completed about, what, 3 or 4 weeks ago. I
Yeah,
had never, I hadn't read books like that before. And I read 2 books out of it. And so it's something that's crazy that you're able to do.
yeah, I love it.
So
And
if, go
I
ahead.
would suggest, even just like Michael Bernoff's program, your program, getting around like-minded people, whatever group it is, surround yourself with the right people. I mean, it it took me up until a couple years ago that if you're around the wrong people, you're not going to get the results in life you want. I've had to cut out a lot of people. Hey, I still love them, but I love them from afar.
And that's the thing I always tell people. Like, if you want to do if you want to do Christmas lights, it's Saturday and Sunday for this next training. If you want to do permanent lights, it's Friday and Saturday. If you want to do all three, you can. You don't have to do permanent lights if you just want to do it. But what I will tell you, when you come to these classes that I put on and you sit down and eat dinner with us, that's when you will learn more than anything else. You know, I always try to do dinner with people. I always try to. It don't always happen, but I try to at least do one night, if not 2 nights, and do dinner. And the reason why is when you sit and not you don't have to just sit by me. You can sit by Jeremy. What you will learn is you will learn more from that usually than you will from the class because they've done it, they know what it is, and they're just talking norm like, and you will pick up something and be like, I can do that one thing right there, and that's going to change the trajectory of my business. And it happens over and over and over. I know Jeremy's been to a ton of different things, and I guarantee you he's learned more in those times of when you're talking and eating dinner than you ever did during all of the classes.
The huge this year. I didn't go to the huge to see people or the stage. I went there to network with people. I barely watched a couple. It was more of talking to people about that I know that are good business owners and network with them. And that's why I try to, whenever I can, I hang out with Randy and Kelly Beeston. I mean,
They're a beast.
they are they're on a different level than most people.
Excited about Christmas lights, collecting deposits while I watch this live. God is good. Yes, He is.
Yeah.
So tell me a piece of advice that you would give someone wanting to try to start and grow a Christmas lights or a pressure washing business.
I mean, get training. Even if you think you know what you're doing, it's going to help. Even if you don't get training, get in a group with people. Surround yourself with the right people. I mean, if you can't do it, our training, pick another one. But I mean, we would definitely not be where we are at without that.
And be
That's
careful in the Facebook groups is what I'll tell you about that too.
oh,
So
if you notice, I've I've pretty much are not I'm not on Facebook at all anymore. I've taken it off my phone. I just will go on it on my iPad once in a while.
tell me
It's
why is that? Because a lot of people don't realize the importance of this.
it's super negative, and half the advice you see on there is bad advice. But I mean, besides all that, I look at it, it's mostly for entertainment because it's sometimes entertainment, but um, it's I feel so drained after I look at that. Besides for, you should be concentrating and focusing on a lot of other things than Facebook. You know, it's like the group we have. I mean, that isn't on Facebook, and we're able to bounce ideas off each other, and that's great. Everyone's focusing on the same thing. Surround yourself with people that are cheerleaders for you, that want to see you succeed.
Yep. And that's the most important thing you can do. And so, just so that you know, if you do come to our class, Jeremy and I will probably be the two tallest people in the class, just so you know, because a lot of people are like, holy crap, I didn't realize you all were that tall. So, just a little heads up. It's kind of
Yep.
funny. Um, and we both have crazy eyes. So, that's even the
Yeah.
even better part.
It is funny.
You know, because it's kind of back to we're not normal, right? But no, but what is normal? Nobody's normal. So go be extraordinary. That's what you got to be. You don't want to be normal. You want to be
Yeah.
extraordinary at the end of the day.
Besides for being extremely good looking, I'm nothing special about me.
And as you're
I hear
extraordinary,
Jen laughing in the next room.
you know, and that's the thing that I think that being extraordinary, you can do extraordinary things. As a garbage man, you were just doing garbage man things. But now, as a business owner, you just got back from burn offs, 3 day, 4 days in Arizona, changing your life, even though you are where you are, right? And I think that's where a lot of people don't realize, and they get stuck. They might get to 50,000, or they might get to 100,000, and they get stuck there because they're like, I know everything. But you got to keep growing and keep building yourself. And I will guarantee you that I will talk this weekend, and Jeremy will learn things that he will be able to implement into his business. He's been into my classes. He's been to 2 or 3 of my classes. But I guarantee you, he wasn't ready for the information that I'm going to give this weekend. And this is the basics, from basics all the way up, that you will learn different things that you're like, that makes sense now. Right,
Even
Jeremy?
even a new person, you'd be surprised. They'll say something, and you look over like, oh my god, that's a great idea. Like, I mean, we're constantly learning. We are at the end of the month. We're going out to San Diego for Tommy Mello's event. I mean, it's you got to keep learning. The more we do events, the more we learn, the more we grow.
And the more successful people you get around and you learn from them and you rub off and you make, like minded people, it's amazing.
Don't focus on the money. It's only money.
It's only money. They say time is money, but that's not the case. Time is not money, because I can give you $100 million today and die tomorrow. Time's not money. So that's where I'd say with that. So with that, again, if you want to come join us in Michigan, I put the link up here. I'll put another link in there. So if you want to go check us out, we'll be in Michigan. Like I said, if you just don't want to do Christmas lights, it will be Saturday and Sunday. If you want to do permanent lights, it's Friday and Saturday. If you want to do all three, it's the same price. You can pick whatever ones you want to do. We will be doing all three of them. The middle day is marketing. That is the most important day. It's all marketing, sales, how to sell, how to close, how to learn different marketing strategies. I go over everything. I go over AI, go pretty deep in AI. I go over everything that you need to know to be able to grow your business. I go over almost every tactic that they use in their business right now that has gotten them to where they are. I don't think there is another tactic out there that I don't go over that they don't use to grow their business, because I want you all to be successful at the end of it. Now, can you go and do them all like they do right now at starting out? No, you're not going to, because you got to be good at one thing, and you got to grow, and you got to focus, and you got to keep going. And as I've always said, consistency is key. You can do anything you want, but if you're not consistent at it, it is not going to grow. Jeremy's been consistently growing his website. Jeremy's been consistently doing Google ads. Jeremy's been, well, he hasn't been so consistent with yard signs, but all the other things he has been consistent with. He's consistent of doing donations and charity work, which is amazing. The other thing that he has stepped up a bunch is the networking side of things. He's taken it to a whole nother level, and he's seeing how the payoff of that is. And so those are the things that he has been consistently doing over and over and over for the last 4 to 5 years. And that is what has grown his business to where it is today. Any last words of encouragement before we jump off here, Jeremy?
Just, hey, if guys come to this, it's an open book. If they want to check out the power washers, talk about that, after the class, we can do that. Actually, I've got some equipment if people want to buy some of our older stuff. So,
and Jen will be there, and if there's any females that come, she'll be. Jen is Jen is awesome. She's got the scripts down. She does amazing. So you'll be able to get there. So
yeah, she's got all the numbers, and you can ask her the specifics on numbers. That's not kind of me. But yeah, I mean, the dog will be there.
Paul Gardner said you're average or something. Actually, he said this guy is not your average. So, but any other encouraging words of encouragement?
Hey, guys, just keep being great.
You will get an awesome T-shirt or an awesome shirt like this, so you can wear it. If I can find out where it is, I can't even get it up here. I did have shirts. They will be coming to your office. They're supposed to be there on Friday, so I just shipped them straight to you. So we are going to be doing a permanent light install at the shop for Jeremy. So it is actually going to be an actual hands-on class, even for the permanent lights. So I'm going to have them shipped to you also. So that will be shipped to you this week. So we will actually do a hands-on house for the Christmas lights. So this isn't just sit here and watch Jason talk for 8 hours. It is going to be getting on a ladder, putting lights on there, doing the things that we need to do to grow this thing so you can see what you need to do. So with that, hope you all have a great night, and hang on, Jeremy, but we'll see you all later.